We're going to get more on our top story, those protests in Iran. Foad Izadi is an associate professor at the University of Tehran. He's joining us now. So thank you very much indeed for being with us. So we understand that the head of Iran's judicial system, Hossein Mohseni-Ejei, is saying that trials must be held quickly and held in public for those burned or beheaded people. How confident can people in Iran be that these trials are going to be legitimate and not just an effort by the government to take retribution?
You know, we have had over 100 policemen casualties in the last couple of weeks. We have had ordinary citizens walking to a store that were killed. We have had store owners that refused to accept the call of Pahlavi to close the stores. He had called for general strikes. We had some store owners that did not want to close their shop. They were killed, their stores were burned. So what the head of Iran's judiciary said today is that we need to separate the people in three groups. One group is the people who actually committed murder. The second group are people who burned mosques, burned shops. And the third group are people who just participated. And I think Iran's judiciary is going to look at each case individually. All of these people will have attorneys. And one thing that I can tell you is that they want to make sure that the number of people who are killed is minimized as much as possible, because they don't want to give Trump an excuse to attack Iran again.
I wanted to ask you about that because of Donald Trump. Of course, Donald Trump has come out and said quite specifically that if Tehran carries out any executions, now he has not specified the nature of those, or the reasons behind those executions, he just said any executions, then the US will take action. How great a risk is Tehran facing at the moment if it does decide to carry out any executions?
You know, I think you have to take him seriously. He attacked Iran in June. We had over 1,200 civilian casualties at that time. Who knows, if he attacks Iran again, we may have 4,000, 5,000 casualties. We know that he doesn't respect human rights. He was working with Netanyahu to finish off a genocide in Gaza. They killed more than 70,000 people in Gaza. So we know they don't have any respect for human rights. Iranians don't believe him when he talks about human rights. They do believe him when he talks about attacking Iran, because he has done it before. He wants to repeat the Libya experience in Iran. You remember what happened in 2011. They used this human rights violations issue to attack Libya. They actually armed gangs in Libya to shoot at police, and once you had a military confrontation with these people, then they
So I'm going to interrupt you because I do understand the kind of context that you're attempting to give us there, and I do take you. I accept that you are trying to put that into that context. I do want to, however, ask you about the fact that the government in Tehran, elements of the government of Tehran, have immediately pointed the finger at the US and, to an extent, Israel as well, as being those who have been fomenting these protests. Given the number of people that we have been seeing on the streets before there was, of course, the communication shutdown in Iran, is it really acceptable, do you think? Do people understand or accept the fact that these protests were actually driven by the US and Israel? Or is it not a clearer indication that there is a fundamental unhappiness and unease with the government of Iran and the way that they are managing the economy, and part of a longer-term dissatisfaction with the government?
You know, before Iranian government officials pointed to the presence of Mossad in these riots, it was Mike Pompeo, the former CIA director, that sent them New Year greetings. And the quote is there. He hasn't deleted the Twitter message. He says that they are walking alongside protesters. Gallant, the former Israeli defense minister, a couple of days ago repeated the same thing. Jerusalem Post numerous Israeli media outlets have been bragging about the fact that Mossad is very much present in these protests. And I think since they want to increase the number of dead, I think Mossad agents are actually shooting both sides at the same time. So this is not something that only Iranian government officials have said, and they realize that they're dealing with two nuclear weapon states. They realize that they just went through a war with the other side, so they want to be careful in terms of making sure that Trump doesn't have an excuse to attack Iran again.
Foad Izadi, we appreciate you being with us on Al Jazeera. Thank you very much indeed.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.